You is a psychological thriller TV show, where murder and romance are the main themes. The show has 5 seasons, each containing 10 episodes. The story follows Joe Goldberg, who on the surface seems like a charming bookstore manager. However, he is actually an intensely obsessive stalker, who is willing to do anything for his twisted idea of love. Released in 2018, the show was developed by Sarah Gamble and Greg Berlanti, and was based on a book of the same name by Carolyn Kepnes. Now let's start the review. Heads up, I won't spoil the endings or anything major, but rest I can't promise. The plot revolves heavily around Joe's monologues.
People, they're easy to fool. Like these cops. I'm the nice straight-edge guy, so there's nothing to worry about. People believe whatever supports their worldview.
Giving us a front row seat into the minds of someone who is completely unaware of their evil and self-centered nature. In these monologues, he refers to the subject of his obsession as you. And yes, that's what the show is titled after. Usually, he stalks this you and finds out their history, their likes, their dislikes. The more than he's saving, the more obsessed he gets. To get them to like him, he constantly lies and manipulates them. It's a twist on the usual psychopath boyfriend trope. Instead of seeing things from the manipulated girlfriend's point of view, we see Joe doing the manipulation, yet somehow we still end up wishing for a happy ending for him. This is due to many factors, like his sarcasm.
Of course, a new phone. Not sure how you went 24 hours without one.
Funny remarks,
Great job, bro.
Bro, you waste of hair.
and wacky shenanigans.
I'm looking forward to it, and I think...
Also, the story tries to make his killings feel justified by putting him in situations where murder is the only way out. And the victims are almost always horrible or shallow people that we, as the viewer, don't care about. On the other hand, we see Joe try to change and avoid making the same mistakes, which makes us side with him instead. Overall, the story is immersive, dark and fun, and you should have an idea of whether you will like it by the end of the first episode. Just a heads up though, the show contains a fair bit of sexual content and mature themes. This includes a scene with prosthetic male genitalia in season 4. Joe is the main focus, and he is written as a nuanced yet simple character for most of the story. Based on season 1, Joe has a savior complex, as well as a nice guy syndrome.
I'm not a maybe. I'm the one.
He's obsessive and manipulative.
I've got time to kill while Paco's out shopping.
You read my mind.
But I have to play this perfectly.
And has no issue harming others for love.
But this is about her.
Childhood trauma and issues with abandonment play a role. But although he denies it, he finds killing very easy. The only time it haunts him is if he kills someone who he believes didn't deserve to die. And even then, he tries to justify it. Other characters vary in quality across seasons. While the earlier seasons always had shallow characters you were meant to dislike, by season 5 even Joe becomes a completely different person, which makes sense story-wise, but I couldn't enjoy his lack of redeeming qualities. The only characters I cared about in seasons 4 and 5 were the ones played by Tilly Keeper and Anna Camp. Most others felt one-dimensional or intentionally annoying. In fact, even the love interests were bland. Season 1 to 3 are best. And honestly, if you can stop there, you should. Because while I enjoy 4 and 5, the writing felt like a downgrade. Season 4 was very predictable, and both seasons had a lot of noticeable plot holes. Not only that, but season 5's story could have been much more compelling if the roles given to new characters were instead plans for earlier established ones. But there was no foresight in that direction, which is a shame considering the fact that I liked the ending but hated the execution of it. Season 1 establishes Joe's character and what he is willing to do. Season 2 introduces us to the idea of what would happen if Joe met someone just like him who would accept him for who he is. Season 3 explores Joe's obsession while being married and having a child. Season 4 is a whodunit mystery involving rich and shallow characters that Joe happened to get dragged into. This is where things truly take a dark turn for Joe's character. Honestly, it felt like a completely different show. Season 5 initially starts with a premise of what would happen if a serial killer was married to a billionaire, but doesn't deliver it, because soon that billionaire turns on him when he starts obsessing with another woman. The acting is easily one of the show's biggest strengths. Every actor plays their role exactly as intended. Even the supporting cast, whether the character they play is likable or not, all do their parts well. However, Penn Badgley's performance as Joe is the main reason the show works so well. He perfectly balances Joe's charm.
I know I'm in a city full of people with big fat neon sign aspirations, and I know it's not cool to say and it's not big and flashy. But I love books. And I want my life to be about what I actually love.
Creepiness, vulnerability,
It was a lie. It was all a lie.
I've done nothing but dote on you.
and menace. The makeup and props team helped make it realistic too, be it in the gore, visually showing stress, or something else. Of course, the credit goes to the camera crew as well. The cinematography is excellent across all 5 seasons. The camera angles and the beautiful locations all add to the experience. The soundtrack fits perfectly with the mood, from intense moments to light happy ones. The show introduced me to a few songs such as Exile by Taylor Swift and Bon Iver. It also features some I already loved, like The Kids Are All Dying by Phineas and Washing Machine Hearts by Mitski. I will link a playlist of all the songs in the description. There are 4 books and 5 seasons. Season 1 is the closest adaptation, but as the series goes on, it drifts further from the source material. The books are written in first-person perspective, though they can often feel like second-person because Joe keeps saying you to refer to another character, and it feels like he's addressing the reader. And this unique style makes it easy to imagine yourself as his victim, which is probably why the author wrote it that way in the first place. The show makes Joe more nuanced and likable. It tones down how creepy, hostile, and sexist his thoughts actually are, as well as the things he went through. The closest thing we get to book Joe is the 5th season Joe, but even he is a saint compared to the book version. The books make it very clear from the start that he's a sexual predator. The show also has new characters like Paco and Ali to make him seem kinder, but they don't exist in the books. There are, of course, many other characters in the show that don't exist in the books and vice versa, or have a very different personality. You is a great show, especially if you're into psychological thrillers or into stories about a complex, charming stalker or serial killer with an internal conflict. But if sexual content or gore makes you uncomfortable, you might want to skip this one because it does contain a fair bit of it. The first 3 seasons are solid, and the last 2, although much weaker, still have things worth watching, with acting staying strong throughout the whole show. Overall, it's an 8 out of 10 for me.